So this next shoot I'm going to show you was a senior shoot, and I took out the Sony A7 IV, and I think I primarily used the 15 millimeter, but then I threw in the Tamron 70 to 185 for take. Really don't know these lenses that well. Anyway, I really like. I did the longer lens on my daughter, and it's not flattering for her face. So I took it out with this shoot and used it on this girl for her senior portraits, and it was flattering on her face. It's just different face structure. It worked differently. Now, the shoot is, they're lightly touched up, but I didn't touch up the hair or the flyaways and stuff like that because it's going to be a process. She had a lot of flyaways, and that's a tedious job to make it look good. You can do a fast touch up with the hair and so forth for flyaways, but I normally have a can of hairspray in my bag, and I didn't because it's the new Sony system. I literally threw stuff in a bag and left. So much so that my plans were to use the angler with the round head, because I found that round head adapter that works with the angler for the 8200 Pro and the remote head. But apparently I was trying that angler with the rectangle Sony flash and didn't swap the adapters back. So, that kind of shit happens. And if I was closer to the studio, I would have been able to come back, but I couldn't. So I had to make do with what I had. And I used bare flash for a good amount of the time. And then at the end, because she wanted a specific look with the lights behind her, the blurry lights. And I threw on the flash bender. It was the little flash bender too. I didn't even have the big one. I made do and made it all work. But I just wanted to share the shoot with you. Now, I love the Sony system. I love the camera. I love the lenses. It is so sharp and clinical. It's ridiculous. Like, I think anyone with literally 5 minutes training could have done the same photos I just did, other than the flash, because that takes a little bit. But, for natural light photos, you really don't even have to think with these cameras anymore. You just point it in the right direction and push the button. It's just unbelievable, which takes me to the point where I just don't like it. I'm not saying that the Leica is superior in any which way, shape, or form. It's just, I like manual focusing. I like the effort. I like the feeling I get when I'm shooting it. And still to this day, my favorite system is the Leica, and believe it or not, I still love the Fuji X Pro 3. I literally bought another body, because they're few and far defined. They're up in price. They're discontinued, and I love that body. I just think it's one of the best bodies ever made. I saw the X-T5, the Fuji X-T5, and I just think that, I'm sure it's a great camera, but the quality craftsmanship, I wasn't impressed. Even over the X-T3 and X-T4, it just seems like it went backwards in quality. Now, the X Pro 3, I think the quality on that is incredible. I know people had some issues here and there, but everybody has issues with some kind of camera, some way, somehow. But I love the body of the X Pro 3. I love the way it was put together. I have now the Durablack and Durasilver. I love the silver, by the way. I think it's beautiful. But anyway, with that being said, here's the shoot. If you have any questions, leave them below. So this is a senior session, and I haven't done one for a while. But man, when I found out that the angler didn't have the right adapter in there for the round head for the 8200, I was like kind of shit out of luck. And I usually have an umbrella, one of those umbrellas you can use to put the flash inside, but this doesn't have a receptor for an umbrella because I just have the round head on the extension head. it wouldn't have worked no matter what. So the key here is to keep this light lower, to keep the power down. When you can really see this, I mean, I just wanted a touch of light to fill in shadows on this one side and to give the face just a little bit of a boost. And it worked out just fine. I mean, the round head on the 8200 has that frosted lens over it, which helps quite a bit. And it is giving it just the right pop. But we're going to 3 different locations for the shoot, by the way. She was in track. She wanted something on the track at the school. She wanted something in the field with blurry backgrounds. And I didn't go completely blurry, but I went blurry. I did try using the 70 to 180 on her, and her face accepted it pretty well. I do like the look because of her shallow jawline. It actually worked for her. There was a couple that I was like iffy about, so I switched over to the 50. And for me, I like the 50 a lot more. And you can see the difference too on some of the shots when I go from the 70 to 180 to the 50. Now, I kept the 70 to 180 short in most cases, but I did go long a couple times. And this is like 70 right here. But now I switched over to the 50. I like the look better. But even the long end with her face, it didn't look bad. It looked good to me. But like I said, some faces it works for, some faces it doesn't. You really have to take a look while you're shooting, and if it's not working, switch it out. But most of the time, I'm staying with the 50 from this point. Like right after this shoot here, this section here, I switch back over to the 50, and I kind of stay with it because I just like the lens better. Anyway, the shoot went really, really well, despite not having a modifier for that. But the last part of this shoot is, she wanted these lights behind her, for the blurry light, out of focus lights kind of thing. And her father just said, "Oh, hey, I'll just hang lights in our backyard and you can use that." And, that was fine. But, it was still probably an hour and a half to sunset. So here I am going, okay, well, I can just, darken it up a little bit. Now, if I had a softbox, that wouldn't be an issue. But since I didn't have that softbox, I had to come up with something creative. And I mean, I was almost at the point where I would take that extender out, and our friend is here, and have her friend hold the softbox in front of that light because it doesn't have an adapter, obviously, but you could hold it in front of there and use that. But then I remembered I had the flash bender, the little one, in my bag. So I said, I'm going to try the flash bender in this thing, for that final one. And it worked out, perfectly. And thank God it did. But there it is with the flash bender on it. And there's the lights and the trees. And like I said, it's quite a while to sunset. So I just had to darken this scene up in camera and then use that. And this is, she was happy with this. It wasn't nighttime kind of a look, but it was darker kind of a look. And then during this, at one point, the sun finally came out. Now, the radar showed no clouds, perfectly sunny day, and all we had was clouds the entire time. So I really needed this 8200 to give pop to her face, without having to do it in post-production, which, it works, obviously, but it's not the same look to me. It's better with that pop of light right out of camera. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this shoot. I had fun doing it. And this final image is when the sun came out. You can see the sun coming up here. I just sped it up so you can actually see the sun coming out. But, this I took advantage as much as I could. I didn't have anything else to do with this because we were in a backyard and we had very little space to shoot. So I had to block everything out. And that was our only sunshine shot with backlight.